na naman po ulit. Oh, how time flies. Malapit na tayo sa second half of the week. But as always, we're here to serve you the top stories of the day. So stick around until 3 p.m. I'm Denise.
And I'm Lourd de Veyra dito. Welcome pong lahat. Bratinela ka man o hindi. Or very demure, very mindful, or very
cutesy.
Cutesy. Come as you are because it's all right. Whoever you are on Afternoon Delight.
Okay, it is Wednesday, as I mentioned, September 11, 2024. Kamusta po kayong lahat? Kalagitnaan ng linggo. We do hope that nakakapit pa po kayo hanggang sa, ito naman, nakakapit na po dun sa ating delight of the day, si Lourd. At yan po ay ramen. Fully packed, may egg. Ano ba tawag dito? Chasu, may pork.
Yung paborito ko eh.
Which one?
Black garlic ramen.
Oh, ay galing ba sa babayan? Nako, parang gusto ko.
Akala ko noong una mga ramen yun. Kaya kahit ano na lang. Pero mukhang may taste si Tito Glenn.
At break ba muna? Kain muna?
Kain muna.
Kakastock pa lang.
Babalik po ang Afternoon Delight.
Habang mainit.
Joke lang po mga kapatid. Marami tayong pag-uusapan. Maraming balita. Pero ang delight of the day natin ay
ramen.
Ramen. Bakit ramen? Hindi kailangan ng dahilan.
Oo, masarap. Yun ang gusto namin. Gusto namin kumain ng ramen on a Wednesday. At sana po, nakikisalo kayo sa aming merienda. Kung meron po kayong mga suggestions, don't forget to leave it on the comment section. At mamaya po, babasahin namin ang inyong mga mensahe, pati na rin po ang inyong mga pagbate sa aming dalawa ni Lourd. Okay?
Ang pagkain ng ramen,
paano nga daw ba?
Ay hindi dapat yung parang very... Hindi pwedeng demure.
Pwede cute.
Mas malakas ang slurp, mas polite yun. Ibig sabihin, mas pinapakita mo yung appreciation mo.
Very mindful of the one who prepared the ramen, gano'n.
Correct.
Baka cutesy pwede.
At pag kayo po'y pumunta sa Japan,
bihirang
kayo makakita ng mga tindahan na bukod sa ramen ay may iba pang binibenta. Yung dito, yung isang sikat na kainan ngayon yun eh. May ramen ka na, may tempura pa, at may kung ano-ano pa, dami laki na menu nila na Japanese.
Usually, ano lang talaga.
Di ba sa Tokyo, kasi halimbawa, kung ramen lang ang specialty mo, usually yun lang. Siguro paminsan-minsan may chicken sa gilid at gyoza, pero bihirang-bihira yung malaki mo. Idea kasi nila parang one dish, one specialty, one specialization. One expertise. At ito talagang puri.
Sige. Subukan muna dyan, ha? Dami tayong dadaan ng mga storya at umpisahan natin with what we have on social media. Unang-una on CNN.com, Trump and Harris face off in contentious debate. A barrage of stories on the CNN website, reactions and analysis on who got the upper hand in the ABC News debate between U.S. presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So, syempre, napakarami nung dinaanan nila. And yung interesting kasi dito is, parang may meme nga na lumabas eh. He's lying, she's lying.
May meme talaga?
Meron lumabas. It was all over X kanina. At ang daming, ang dami ding lumalabas na nagpa-fact check.
Nako, buti na lang yung mga ABC anchors kanina. Habang live, fina-fact check nila, especially when Donald Trump claimed na may mga Haitian immigrants, may mga immigrants daw, na sinisisi for the kinakain daw yung mga pet dogs and pet cats.
Oo nga, may mga
isang
ganyan.
Conspiracy theory yan. At isang racist stereotype na usually ina-apply sa mga Asians. Pero ngayon sa Haitians na. Sa Springfield, Ohio to be more exact. At yan po at marami pang conspiracy theory sa pinakawala nitong si Trump. Pero kung sino ang nangibabaw daw in terms of getting the other one's goat, si Kamala siguro kasi statement, tapos susundot siya kay Trump. Pero nag-react lang talaga si Trump nung pinag-usapan yung pinaka-obsession ni Trump sa lahat, crowd size. Nung crowd size na, nung sinabi ni Kamala Harris, his crowds are getting smaller and smaller, people are leaving.
Ito yung sinabi niya na, I'm gonna do something parang unusual, no? Na she invited people to attend one of Trump's rallies.
Yes.
Oo.
Doon talaga sumabog si Trump. Pag Trump, crowd size, it's personal. all gloves are off. Parang ganon, gloves off na siya. Tapos, This was my best debate, according to Trump, who thinks he has the best mind. He has the best words of all, the best words anyone can hear. This was my best debate. Best debate kasi, bakit kaya?
Ang sabi niya dito, when asked about his answer to whether he would veto a national abortion ban, Trump said, all you have to do is check it. It was a perfect answer on abortion. And I've done a great job in that, and I've brought our country together.
Ayos Oo, sa pananaw ni Trump. Pero, sinasabi na, tapos na raw ang boxing dahil...
Ito na nga. May kaugnayan.
Endorsed by the most powerful cat lady in American history, si Taylor Swift.
At dyan na nga papunta, Lourd, yung susunod nating kwento, no? Has got to hurt Trump's campaign because pop superstar Taylor Swift endorses Kamala's for Swift for president and Tim Walz for VP. So nag-post siya kanina. Ito, yung kanyang post with her cat. Actually, tinignan natin yan at update lang, Lourd, so far. That was posted. Balikan lang natin mabilis yung post ni Taylor Swift. She posted that 3 hours ago. Nasa halos 5 milyon na ang likes. At ito yung nakasulat sa kanyang post. Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about the proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me, quote-unquote, falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site.
Uy, tagal yan
It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for the election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ+ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, Childless Cat Lady.
Iyon. Okay, yung Childless Cat Lady is obviously a dig at a statement made by Trump's running mate J.D. Vance months ago that the Democratic Party daw, or the Liberal, is led by childless cat ladies. In obvious reference to Kamala Harris din, ano? Kasi obsessed with procreation and reproduction itong si J.D. Vance. Na dapat daw gawin ng mga Amerikano ay mag-breed, magparami ng lahi. Weird. Again, weird is one of those magic words that you have to mention to Donald Trump para sumabog siya. That he's not weird. He's a solid rock daw, and so is J.D. Vance.
What's going to be interesting to watch and see, of course, is how that could possibly affect the voting, no? Because sabi nga nila, tapos na ba ang laban pagka-endorse ni Tay-Tay?
Oo, pero malaking bagay pa rin yung registration.
Oo.
Kasi kung tutuusin mo, ang dami raw unregistered na mga Amerikano para sa Pilipinas din, kumbaga. Pero ang tendency raw kasi pag magpaparegister, ang unregistered who will register tend to vote Democrat. Oo,
And sabi nila, when it comes to the elections, it's not just about convincing people about what you're willing to do for them or what your plans are, but it's also about getting them to come out and actually vote for you.
Yun.
And vote for the future of your country.
Okay, balik tayo sa debate. Okay lang, ano pang mga observations mo, Tita Denise? So far, doon sa mga naabutan mo, ano yung impressions ba?
Ang nakikita ko lang, because I was actually looking up things online also. Siyempre, tinitignan natin yung mga banat nila sa isa't isa. Pero yung madalas lumalabas, Lourd, yung mga netizens cannot help but point out yung body language daw. Na kitang-kita daw sa side ni Kamala, she was trying to, look at him from time to time, humingiti, may smirks, iba-iba yung facial expression. Pero si Trump daw, ika ng mga tao online, hindi daw nakatingin dito kay Kamala with what they described as, quote-unquote, Trump looking rattled.
Medyo si Kamala kasi was always on the offensive all the time. Pero sinasabi ng maraming experts na mukhang pagdating sa areas ng economics, yun ang pinakamahina ni Kamala at maraming mga non-sequitur sa kanyang brief statements at laging referring to my family, iga nga. Pero pagdating pa rin sa mga closing arguments, closing statements, ang kay Trump daw is something that he could have said 9 years ago about yung American carnage, etc., etc. At siya lang daw ang tanging makapag only I have these answers, mga ganon. Mukha bang nag-prepare si Trump? Baka hindi, kasi the usual pa rin, the usual refrains. At pero pagdating sa usapin ng abortion at pagdating sa usapin ng immigration, Roe v. Wade, ito yung medyo dito nagtaasan talaga yung mga emosyon, no? At doon mo they spent a significant part of the debate doon. At after that, kailangan ko nang bumaba at magtrabaho, kaya hindi ko nasundan talaga, no? Ikaw, ano pa observations?
Just to touch on what you said, no, yung closing statement niya, kasi isa doon sa mga sinabi naman ni Trump is, yung closing statement kasi ni Kamala, parang in-address niya ulit na she has plans, she's looking at the future, as opposed to somebody who's looking at the past. Diba? Yung isa sa mga sinabi ni Trump naman sa kanyang closing statement is, this is of course, just trying to simplify things, no? At tatagalugin natin na kung marami kang plano o kung meron na yan, nakalatag na yan, bakit hindi mo pa nagagawa? You had 4 years.
You had 4 years.
Oo.
Pwede rin ibalik sa kanya yun. You had 4 years.
Which is exactly.
You had 4 years at ikaw pa yung actually nasa kapangyarihan. Pero context lang, at his age, si Donald Trump na yata yung presidential candidate na nagkaroon ng pinakamaraming pagkakataon na to engage in debates, sa totoo lang. 7 debates mula noon pa, mula sa mga primaries pa hanggang ngayon. At sabihin lang natin na ibang klase talaga tong election. Napaka-surreal talaga nitong nung mga nangyayari, pero parang ordinaryo na lang. Parang nakakalimutan natin na it's less than a month or 2 months ago na may assassination attempt kay Donald Trump. Okay, and for a reaction, na mas malapit-lapit doon sa pinangyarihan ng debate, we will have reaction from an active participant in the campaign. Joining us live from Washington, D.C. is John P.B. Jose, political operative, and he's the founder and CEO of the American Tomorrow Project and the former National Asian Engagement Director of the Republican National Convention, RNC. Hello again, John. Thanks for talking to us.
Good afternoon. Magandang tanghali po sa inyo. Thank you for having me on this early morning dito sa Washington, D.C. But sana kasama ako dyan at nakakapagpansit kasama nyo.
Pasensya ka na dyan, pero we appreciate you staying up late. Okay, ano ba ang dyan sa Washington ngayon? What is the mood after the debate? And alam natin, kung ikaw bahagi ng RNC, Pero ano bang temper dyan ngayon? Ano bang mood?
Yes, no, I'm happy to speak about this. Been a great debate. To be honest, to be frank, it's good to hear na kung anong policies and mga plano ni Vice President Kamala Harris. Dahil within the past 50 days, where she's been basically installed as the replacement ni President Biden, she hasn't been doing interviews or she hasn't laid out policies. And then, it's interesting enough na last night they actually released her policies online, but tonight on the debate she's saying that, wow, I've had all these plans, I've had these ideas, and I've had these plans to do and accomplish, and that's the main question of the people. And if you can see the polls that came out over the weekend, the top two issues are still immigration and economy. And after the debate, you've seen the results na talagang sa economy pa rin suporta at trusted pa rin ang mga tao when it comes to Donald Trump. So I think it was a much more heated debate, of course, compared to the first debate that we've had against President Biden and President Trump. So it's been a good turnout for tonight. But I think the interesting points to bring up here, in this upcoming election with 50 plus days left, is those battleground and swing states, right? It comes down to 7 states. It goes Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and then some in the south of Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, and I'm blanking on the other one, but those are some of the battleground states that are super important that both candidates have to really court, and kailangan talaga nilang ligawan at kailangan nilang mag-turn out para pumoto sa upcoming elections. And that's going to affect our Filipino community that lives in those battleground districts as well. So it's going to be an exciting next 50 plus days.
John, just to touch on what you just mentioned, it's really about having them turn up as well. Back and forth during the debate, there were many issues that were tried to be tackled na hindi masyadong clear kung ano ba yung solid plan for both parties, for Trump as well as for VP Harris. But how do you think you can convince people to show up, to use their vote, to choose a candidate? Because again, as we mentioned earlier, it's not just about convincing them that you are, you do have those plans and you want the best for the American people, but how do you get them to show up?
To be honest with you, turnout is going to be record-breaking in this upcoming election. Enthusiasm is super high in the side of the Democrats, and enthusiasm is very high in the side of the Republicans as well. So I think within those battleground states, it's a race, and it's you have to really knock doors, and you have to knock doors. You have to make phone calls. You have to have multiple rallies, and you have to have a ground game. That that are smart about in terms of early voting, absentee and mail-in voting, and then of course day of election voting. Hindi na ngayon isang araw para bumoto. It's almost a month, and it depends on which battleground and which states there are, right? So it's up to both campaigns to really get their teams out there, get their surrogates out there, get everybody involved na kailangan nilang bumoto. And it's going to be interesting on who's going to turn out when it comes to the early voting. And that's something that the Republicans have been really behind on in previous elections. But with new policies and new infrastructure, this is something that they're really working hard on to accomplish in this upcoming election. So I think it's going to be really exciting. Like I said, it's going to be when it comes to these battleground states. And personally, I think it's all going to come down to Pennsylvania. So it's going to be an interesting race till the end. And it's a sprint. And in terms of, how to convince our folks, I think it's been clear President Trump has showed his policies. He's been open to do multiple interviews. He's been doing the hardest interviews with the opposing media, right? He's not scared to face these people. How come Kamala Harris is? How come she doesn't want to, what is she so scared about when it comes to these policies that she's promoting, that it took the debate night for her to really say what she has in mind? So,
okay. John, there's an observation though that in terms of volunteers, in terms of, let's say, mga teams going out there and kumbaga, there's less mas maliit daw yung team, yung force working for Trump compared to kay Kamala daw. Is it true?
I would disagree with that because it's a different strategy. Because, so, isipin natin to in terms of Filipino, like, ground game, right? And isipin natin is, you're covering a whole city. The focus of Donald Trump and his campaign is focusing on the barangays,
Yes.
right? How are we focusing on those districts that have close margins, that people have never voted before or have not voted in the recent elections, right? Yun ang parang target niya ngayon. Ang hinahabol niya ngayon yung mga low propensity voters as called. Whereas the Harris and the Walz campaign, as they should, because they're reaching out more to like urban areas rather than rural areas, is they want to cast a wide net and get as many people to vote in the urban areas, cut out the margins sa mga rural areas, because there is a big divide sa mga probinsya at saka sa mga cities. As you know, Democrats are more in the cities and the Republicans are more in the rural areas. And it used to be the rural areas were part of the Democrats. Pero sila ngayon yung nafe-feel nilang naiiwanan na sila. Kaya sila ngayon lumilipat sa Republican Party, and more on the cities are, doing the opposite. They're moving closer to the Democratic Party because of those same policies that are in the cities. So it's an interesting dynamic talaga.
Yeah. Okay, John, patanong lang. Ikaw ba as a member ng as a Republican, I would assume, paki-explain sa amin, maraming gradations ang pagiging Republican, di ba? Hindi lang yung, it's not a monolith, di ba? There are varying degrees of being Republican right now. At merong mga, well, sabi na yung mga MAGA Republicans is ibang degree ang ino-occupy niya. Ikaw ba ay nasaan bahagi ka ng spectrum ng Republicanism?
Nasa bahagi po ako ng let's get some work done and let's focus on the issues at hand, right? I'm more on the I guess more on the, some people might say consider establishment, but no, I'm more of a I'm a little bit in the libertarian side in the Republican side, but more on, I'm more for small government. I don't want the government being a part of our lives, and that's the thing, right? And so it's that big urban and the coastal divides as well, right? And if you think about it in a Filipino perspective, in sa Filam perspective, I go around the country here and talk to multiple communities, right? And you talk about the Filipino Americans are in the coast in New York, California, is different from the people in the Filipino Americans in the flyover states, right? We have Filipino Americans in Ohio, in Texas, in Kentucky, where I'm from, right? For example, in Cincinnati, Ohio, we have a Filipino American born congressional candidate, Orlando Sonza, running for a congressional race where it's majority white district. We have a Filipino American mayor in Brunswick, Ohio, Ron Falcone, a longtime Republican mayor that leads a community of white, population. So it's not necessarily like the identity politics of being that. It's more of like the community. May pagka-Pilipino din yan, yung mga nasa mga flyover states. It's more conservative leaning, right? It's more provincial, it's more family based, and so those are some of the values na nung lumipat ako sa Kentucky na wow, nakarelate ako because they're about improving the community. It's not necessarily about the identity, which I can see happens in the coastal areas. So it's like I said, it's a different perspective, but it's still relatable, Makakarelate pa rin ang ating mga Philam communities about this upcoming race.
Of all the places pa, sa Kentucky ka pa talaga na-feel.
Kaya nga.
Okay, marami bang Pinoy na members ang GOP? O tumitingin na sumusunod sa GOP? Kasi yung konserbatismo ay very Pinoy, kung tutuusin mo, yung mga old school values. Pero okay, I only ask, nawala ako, naniniwala ka ba pag sinasabi ni Trump, he keeps denying that he's read none of Project 2025 and always disavows any association with it? Ikaw, ano sa tingin mo ba sa Project 2025 as member?
It's a great tactic that the Democrats have used. It really has been, because it's naka-attach yung mga tao, mga dating, yung mga former organizations with Trump, right? But it is not a part of their campaign. It is a nonprofit organization that connects with other organizations on potential policies that that administration can use. The Democrats do the same thing. Biden had a transition plan. Obama had a transition plan. Both both parties have think tanks that produces these policies for them so that they can start lobbying on them for those issues once they become president. Obviously, Trump has denounced that since the very beginning, but it's such a very catchy name. It's Project 2025. It's this mysterious thing that it's being utilized as a tactic to deflect on their real policies. You know, like, why would you keep debunk? You know, it's already been debunked. He said it on stage tonight. But they, you know, it's kind of funny that the ABC moderators keep hitting up on that, but they never fact check Kamala on that side either, or any of the issues. So it's just an interesting, you know, thing to bring up, to talk about. It's just a catchy name, Project 2025, right? But nakaka-mysterious.
But I want to go back to what you mentioned also, John, because you do talk a lot to Filipino communities back there. Speaking of issues, ano nga ba yung mga issues that Filipino Americans wants to be addressed? At kamusta yung overall feel of the communities that you've interacted with and talked to, lalo na ngayon, ang lapit-lapit na ng eleksyon?
Yes, I appreciate that question very much, because I think that that's the important reason, and that's why I'm here. Is you know, these are the things that I hear from the Filipino Americans, especially in Arizona, in Nevada, right, in Pennsylvania. We even have Filipino Americans in Wisconsin, right? These are the folks that are that flyover district. The really issues to them is economy and immigration is the number two. Number one sa economy. Ang ating mga kababayan na nandito, we have to think about that. They still send money back home. Remittances is still very important in their lives. Meron pa rin silang mga pamilyang sinusuportahan, right? So, but since the economy is down, they're working more hours, they're saving less money, budget is thinning out. They have to think about the grocery prices for their kids, the gas prices for their cars. How do they take them to different school activities? Plus, kailangan pa magpadala sa Pilipinas. May pamilyang nagkasakit, right? So those are some of the issues that really important to them. Number two, sa immigration, right? When it comes to legal immigration, lalo na sa Pilipino, we all have this reputation of TNT and tago ng tago, right? But it's an idea for the Filipino Americans that are here, that came legally, talagang lalo na sa Las Vegas and Nevada, yung mga kababayan natin doon, ang mga sinasabi nila, sana tumawid na lang tayo sa Mexico, hindi na tayo naghintay sa embassy ng ilang araw para magkaroon ng appointment. You know, these are real, parang sinasampal na sila dahil they have to go through these long processes, you know, like the immigration processes, and how now you have these people that are just crossing over the border, and now they're getting the benefits that's right for them. So sila po yung natatamaan talaga sa ganun. Ang nanay ko po natatamaan ng ganun kasi tanda ko po nung nagpila kami sa US Embassy. Tapos hindi ko naiintindihan kung anong mangyayari pala sa aming buhay. And then, you know, so that's the things that we really have to have the sentimental within the community.
Pag naging citizen daw ang Pinoy, mas maga pa sa maga. Pag naging citizen,
I like that. That's a good one, huh?
Alright, John, okay, limited lang oras pero marami pa kaming sanang gustong itanong sa'yo. Pero, alright, nagpapasalamat kami dyan. Thank you for staying up.
Ay, pwede singit muna natin, John,
Sige po.
Kasi little over 3 hours ago, there was an endorsement as well. Coming from Taylor Swift, at pinost niya that she will be officially endorsing Kamala Harris as well as Tim Walz. Ano sa tingin mo yung magiging impact nito in the upcoming presidential elections?
I mean, when it comes to her, yes, she's going to increase the turnout for sure. I mean, she's a very strong influence in American life and pop culture. But, you know, as what she says is to look at and do your own research. You know, if those are the issues that's important to her, you know, I think she's out of touch of what the millions of Americans are feeling the number one and number two issues are, as reflected by the other polls of economy and immigration. And she didn't mention any of those in terms of like really in a general sense, right? So how do we combat that? It's going to hopefully liven up the Republican Party as well and find a way to counter that and really turn out. But I do appreciate that she is making a message to get people to vote, you know, and that's the most important part. And so my challenge is to our Filipino community as well is to really turn out and vote in this upcoming election. Nililigawan na tayo ng lahat ng mga kandidato. We have to give our voice and we have to make sure that, we stand strong as Filipino community here in the US. So,
Taga Kentucky ka, buti may oras pa pala tayo. Okay, John. Taga Kentucky ka, ikaw, sila Rand Paul ba itatakbo pa rin ulit? I suppose si Mitch McConnell magpapahinga na.
Senator McConnell has retired from his leadership post, but I do believe he has 3 more years in his term, and so we're gonna find out in 3 years. But Kentucky's a hotbed for Republican politics, and it's kind of funny kasi nakita ko lang Kentucky from the side of a chicken bucket, right? Tapos din ako nakatira. So, talagang masarap din ang fried chicken doon.
Pareho ba lasa? Sorry.
Wala lang kanin.
Kailangan kitang tanungan dito.
Wala lang kanin.
Same taste ba talaga? At bawat kanto ba merong KFC? At doon ba KFC din ang tawag?
Mas masarap, mas pipiliin ko pa din ang Jollibee anything.
May kanin ba yung KFC dyan?
Wala po, kailangan pa magpaluto sa likod.
Di ba? Yan sinasabi ko, sa Singapore walang rice. At walang gravy.
Anong kahalo anong partner nung sa inyo, John?
Mashed potatoes. I prefer mac and cheese. Pero hindi yung Filipino style mac and cheese, no. So, mas gusto ko pa din itong Pinoy any day. So, that's why it's kind of interesting na lumipat ako sa DC na maraming Pilipino ngayon. So, spoiled na ako.
Ito yung mga halagang political issues na dapat pag-usapan.
Correct.
Meron bang gravy ang KFC sa Kentucky mismo? Walang gravy. Tama dyan, ano?
But it's the gravy para sa mashed potatoes, hindi siya para gravy specific to chicken. Yan ang importanteng malaman nyo.
Baka lang ma-frustrate sila, no? Na bakit asan yung gravy? May kaibigan ako, he had to order 3 mashed potatoes para may gravy. Kasi parang hindi niya rin makain yung manok.
Nang wala.
Gravy. Diba?
Pero Jollibee here, talagang may panlaban sa Jollibee sa Pilipinas. Pero Jollibee Pinas pa din po.
Tama yan. Saan ka sa Pilipinas galing dyan, if we may ask?
Batanggenyo po.
Ayun.
Saan sa Batangas?
Balayan po, in Batangas City.
Balayan.
Ang mother ko ay taga Batangas.
Tama. So, parang Batanggenyo.
Wala. Dito na tayo napunta.
Pwede din kung may puntong Batanggenyo din eh.
Diyan.
Flexible po.
Oo. Matanong ko lang, bilang may kinalaman may pagiging Batanggenyo mo sa pagiging conservative mo, ano yung ano yung nagtulak sa iyo na maging conservative?
Talaga po, I appreciate that question because this is very near and dear to my heart kasi kasalanan po ng nanay ko po ito. Ang tunay pong storya nito, ang nanay ko po tumakbo siyang konsehala nung ako po ay 7 years old. Ako po nung President Arab's race, nakatira pa po ako sa Pilipinas. Araw-araw hinahanap ko po nanay ko. Sabi ng lola ko, nangangampanya. Sabi ko, ano ba yung kampanyang yan? And then when I saw her, that was public service. So I blame her. This is how I saw how I can find a way to give back to the community, especially the Filipino-American community here sa America. So I still blame her to this day. That's the reason why I'm still doing this. And she left me those values. Pati lola ko po, so those are important family values na hindi dapat natin makalimutan. So kahit nung nasa Amerika ako, talagang pinagpatuloy ko yung pagtatagalog, pagbatanggenyo para hindi talaga makalimutan. Dahil napaka-importante ang kulturang Pilipino.
John, maaga-aga kang na-expose, no? In the political scene. Ito naman, ano bang fearless forecast mo? Who do you think will be the next American president? Just based on everything that you've seen.
I think I'm still very confident of President Trump's chances. He's done completely, in a way, a change from what he was in 2020 and 2016, right? He's matured as well as a candidate, and those are important. We need somebody who's strong now, and he's the best agent of change that he's produced. Because do we really want another 4 years of the same economical downturn, future wars, more instability within America? Or how was it even in 2016 that when he could be mean, but we were a very prosperous nation and a very safe country? So I think at the end, those are going to be the issues that's going to be on top of mind of the American people and the Filipino-American people as well, that they'll make the choice for Donald Trump for president.
Pero okay, mabalik tayo sa mahalagang political question. Yung KFC ba dyan, meron ding spicy na crunchy chicken na
Sa totoo
option?
lang, oo, pero talagang gustong-gusto ko talaga yung Pilipinong KFC pa din. Kasi alam nyo, yung gusto ko yung ang tawag doon, yung twister. I love the wrap, yung chicken wrap dyan sa...
Ay, chicken wrap.
Wala dito noon. Wala dito noon. They're more on the chicken tenders, the chicken, walang hot shots.
Baduy,
Walang
talaga?
ganon. So, those are... Laking Pinoy focus, iba ang flavor ko dyan. Pero, the real restaurant of Colonel Sanders in Kentucky was good because it was still ran by her wife, by his wife, few years later, Claudia Sanders. So, yun ang authentic na KFC pa din.
Ganun pala yun. So, wala na yan ngayon, ano? Pero sige, abangan natin yan. Anyway, ang batang genyo ngayon ay nasa Washington. Thank you for staying up late and thank you for sharing your insights with us. Ang PhilAm Community Leader, si John P. Jose, dito po sa Amerika. Thank you, John.
Salamat po. Thank you.
Alright. So, pagdapunta tayo ng Kentucky, or ika mga tiyuhin ko, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Hanapin natin yan si John. Alright, tayo mga muna. Marami pa kayong kwento sa inyo. Magbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight. Nagbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight dito po sa One News. Ako po si Lourd de Veyra.
At ako naman po, si Denise Tan. Thank you for staying with us.
Okay, so meron tayong concept of a show, pero may show tayo. Unlike some personalities na may... Tinanong ko may plan, ang sagot ay...
Concepts of a plan.
Bati muna tayo sa ating social media. Hello kay John Santelices. A delightful afternoon to you, Sir Lourd, and Miss Denise Tan. Abangers daw siya while working.
Ito naman. Ito mga suki talaga natin, nakakatuwa. Nakita na naman natin si Nico Cabales. Sabi niya, hi, Idol Lourd and Denise. Hello po sa'yo, Nico. And then naman si Miss Bea Dalisay. Sabi niya, hello, Sir Lourd and Ma'am Denise. Ang sarap naman po ng delight of the day nyo. Pahingi naman po kami. Dumayo po kayo dito.
Yes.
Magsalo-salo tayo sa ating merienda.
Ang sarap talaga nitong ramen na to.
Actually,
paborito ko to.
Ito naman, si Mark Escueta, sabi niya, good afternoon, Delight, Tito Lourd, Tita Denise, Papa-attendance lang ako. Araw-araw to,
Check
ka
si
dyan.
Mark Escueta ba yan?
Correct.
Tinanong ko si Jolina yung asawa niya. Eric Moico, isang mapagpalang hapon sa Afternoon Delight and Friends. Sabi ni Oscar N., Racing Cane's is way better than KFC. Ano kaya Racing Cane's? Resto ba ito?
Fast food din. Oo.
Paulo L., hello. Concept of a greeting. Itong nagawa namin ngayon. Eric Moico, of course, let there be light. At Lloyd Chong, magandang hapon din. Si Panorth, hindi po masarap ramen kapag malamig na. Slimy na yung noodles pag lumamig. Hindi lang slimy, namamagana. Kasi na-absorb niya na.
Kaya tignan nyo, bawas na yung mga noodles namin. Akala nyo, pa-break namin na yon. Hihinga po kami, pero ang ini-inhale namin ay yung ramen.
At alam mo, ang tunay na ramen ay greasy talaga.
It's all in the broth nga daw, di ba, yung sabi nila.
Sabi nga nila, ang masarap na ramen broth, ilagay mo yung mga pira-pira sa mga daliri ni Elvis Presley. Bangkay niya, masarap pa rin.
Ganun pala yun. Paalala lang po sa lahat, we are live on Facebook, on a One News Facebook page. Nasa YouTube din po kami. Punta lang po kayo sa One News and click on the Afternoon Delight link. At nasa TikTok na rin po kami. Kung yan ang gusto nyong social media app, please like and share and continue watching us all throughout the week. Parehas pa rin to, 2 to 3 p.m. every single day from Monday to Friday.
Ay, congrats nga pala sa ating mojo na si Francis Orsho. Siya'y nanalo doon sa tinatawag sa yung parangal na binibigay ng Department of Science and Technology, ang tinatawag nilang
ito 2020, ito ba yun?
Bantog Awards. Bahagi po siya ng Best Science Communicators of 2024 ayon po sa DOS. Mahalaga yung mga science reports para sa akin talaga.
And of course, hindi lang naman si Francis, no? Pulitzer Prize winner Manny Mogato is launching an autobiography titled It's Me Book, Journeys in Journalism.
Ayan.
The book covers his extensive career as a journalist from the 1980s to his retirement in 2019.
Ang ganda kaya ng cover. Oo, parang pakita ko lang sa inyo, no? Seryosohan eh. Talagang it speaks volumes of his true persona. Ayan, no? Diba ang cute?
It's Me. Ang cute nga.
Ang Care Bears.
Cute. Tito Manny.
Press talagang nakasulat. Oo, at merong mga blurbs from some important people except for one. Ako yun. Pero yung pinakahuli, si Patrick Paes, ang ating bossing. It's Me, Bok. Maganda. Pero ako alternative title pa rin, pero mahaba nga lang. Domo Arigato, Mr. Mogato.
Ay, nanonood pala sa atin si si Mr. Ronald Llamas.
Hello, Sir
Hello po,
Ronald.
sir.
Abangan niyo mamaya ang StoryCon. Ang laging pinag-aagawan, no? Left and right ng iba-ibang mga online programs.
Correct.
At ang leader po ng, 0.4% movement, ang tinatawag nilang si Senator Edo Manzanas, si Ronald Llamas. Seryoso yan ang tawag sa kanya.
Oo nga, kitang-kita naman ng ang comparison talaga.
Kay Edo o sa Manzanas.
Grabe siya. Easy. Hello po, sir.
Idol natin yan.
Opo, magandang hapon.
Yan ang talagang current political sage talaga ngayon. You want his insight?
Oo.
Turns out, ang observation niya ay to the point.
Oo. Sana po next time ay actually makasama din natin itong si Mr. Ronald Llamas, especially his take naman on what he saw from the Trump-Harris debate.
Naintriga ako kasi sabi niya sa ating producer, he thinks Trump won.
Oo.
At maliban sa Fox News, very rare yung ganong pananaw ngayon. No? Abangan natin yan sa kanyang sasabihin mamaya sa StoryCon. Alright, sino pa? Ano ba yung mga pinag-uusapan ngayon online? Ano yung mga nagba-viral yan, Tita Denise?
Ano ba? Tignan natin, ha? Online, actually, kasi kanina pa ako nakaabang, siguro mga alas 8:30 pa lang, yung talagang debate. All over X or Twitter, as formerly known as Twitter, yun ang talagang pinag-uusapan. And there are different takes on what will happen and what is currently happen in the US presidential debate. Oo. At syempre, from time to time, may mga sumusundot din on what's happening back here at home.
Correct. So ano ba ang nangyayari back here at home? Sa sports, halimbawa, no?
Teka lang, speaking of sports, isabihin lang natin, lumabas na po yung ating The Long Take interview with EJ Obiena, where he talked about his preparations, what happened in Paris 2024, as well as how he's dealing with everything here in the Philippines post the competition po in the Olympics. Lalo na nga, at syempre may mga challenges. Actually, publicized naman to na meron pala siyang fractured vertebra, the L5 vertebra. At
sabi niya, hindi niya raw ginagamit yun as an excuse, no?
Oo.
Kung bakit hindi siya masyadong nagtagumpay. Pero, kung gusto kong tanongin sa kanya, tungkol kay Mondo Duplantis.
Mondo Duplantis.
Kung sa tingin niya ba niya, habang nabubuhay ba si Mondo Duplantis ay walang maaring ibang maging pole vaulting?
Alam mo, medyo mahirap talaga, no? Kasi nga, si Mondo Duplantis, alam naman natin, set a new world and Olympic record in Paris 2024. Tapos, 2 weeks after that, nag-set na naman ng panibago. Parang
diba?
1 week pa nga lang eh.
Nakakain.
Oo, lagi siya dinidescribe siya ng mga tao na parang, tao pa ba itong si Mondo? Kaya naman talagang pinagkakaguluhan siya ng not just pole vaulting fans, but sports fans all over the world. Pero, Lourd, speaking of pinagkakaguluhan ito, nagkakagulo ngayon yung mga tao, mga in the world of entertainment naman, dahil si Olivia Rodrigo, naglabas ng parang poster, kumbaga, that she will be coming to the Philippines on October 5. Ang pinaka-pinag-uusapan ng mga tao, yung kanyang ticket prices. Nakita ko rin to actually, sa text kanina.
Napakamahal ba?
Ang tickets kasi, ang nakalagay dito, tickets 1,500 pesos, including taxes.
1,500?
Oo. Naikukumpara kasi.
Afford naman yan.
Oo nga.
Kanino na ikukumpara?
Ay, mahirap.
Sa isang grupo.
Oo. na napakalayo daw ng
Teka muna, 1.5
presyo.
baka naman bleachers lang yan.
Kaya hindi rin naman klaro ang detalye, ano? Pero yan yung sinasabi online. Ang nakalagay dito, proceeds going to Olivia's quote-unquote Fund for Good. Fund for Good, in conjunction with the Guts World Tour, Olivia has launched the Fund for Good, a global initiative committed to building an equitable and just future for women and girls.
Wow, bigat yan Pero, okay. Si Olivia Rodrigo ay half, di ba? Phil-Am, tama ba? May Pinay blood ba si Olivia Rodrigo? Tama, di ba?
Ito pala. We just got word, no? Pagdating pala sa concert venue, which is, the concert venue is the Philippine Arena. Pag-claim nung ticket, doon nila malalaman kung saan sila seated.
Huh?
But, all tickets are 1,500 pesos.
Surprise. Surprise!
Ayan.
So, 1.5 random yan kung saan ka maupo.
Yun ang
Interesting yan.
sulat, ano?
It's like a box of chocolates.
Pero kasi kung iisipin mo, kung international artist, usually kahit sa bird's eye view ka, parang nasa halos ganun na rin ng presyo. O medyo mas mababa lang ng konti. International artist,
1.5?
mas mababa ng konti. Sabi natin 1,000.
Teka, dollars ba o pesos pinag-usapan natin?
Pesos.
Talaga? Ganun ba kamura ang mga ano ngayon?
Hindi, sabihin mo kung ganun talaga, sobrang baba talaga. Sabihin na lang natin, sobrang baba. Diba?
Ano
Ay,
yan?
sobrang baba. Sobrang taas. Sobrang taas nung pwesto mo. Kung baga, kung ikaw ay halos nandun na sa bubong.
Ganun lang kaliit pinapanood mo.
Oo. Hindi, may mga big screen naman kasi yun eh.
Kung big screen lang, di sana sa screen ka na lang. dito sa
Yung
bahay
iba
natin.
kasi, it's for the vibe. Oo.
Okay.
And
Sa ako, napanood ko Air Supply. Nagbayad pa ako.
Ano?
Panahon na yon mga 750 lang.
Anong panahon yon?
Ano naman, buhay ka na nun. ano? Pero, nanood ako ng Air Supply, doon marirealize mo, halos lahat pala na kanta ng Air Supply ay bahagi ng buhay ng Pilipinas.
Ay, teka nga, mabalik ka ng playlist.
Parang, ay, alam ko yung kanta yan, sila pala yan. Mga
Oo.
ganyan, dami lang hits. At guess what? Pagtingin ko sa likod, si Noel Cabangon nanonood.
Totoo ba?
Oo. Hindi sabi, ang dami nga pala nilang hits, ano?
Alam,
Magugulat ka na, alam ko yan. Tapos, for some strange reason, kabisado mo yung lyrics nila. Yun ang magic sa Air Supply.
Ako hindi ako magaling mag-alala to remember the titles of the song. Pero pag yung kinakanta na,
Yes.
nasasabayan na.
Ganyan ang Air Supply.
Oo.
Alam mo yung susunod. Kasi hindi mo alam bakit, hindi mo alam nasa hangin pala ng Pilipinas ang mga letra ng kanta ng Air Supply.
Sige, balikan natin yung playlist ng Air Supply. At sana po, magbalik din po kayo tomorrow because for today, we have to wrap things up for this Wednesday, September 11. Maraming salamat po ulit for watching Afternoon Delight. Ako po, si Denise Tan.
Join us again tomorrow. Ako po si Lourd de Veyra. 2 less lonely people in the world. And it's gonna be fine. All right, have a delightful afternoon at happy birthday kay Camille Samonte. Birthday niya ngayon. All right.